the screen. Does that make sense? Thumbs up. Thumbs up, everyone. Cool. So a few things that I would probably like to first and foremost talk about is the one thing that a lot of people are still not understanding about the type of work that we do is the fact that it all revolves around one thing and one thing only. And ultimately that there is you. You are at the center of your universe. And if you're at the center of your universe, there's a few things that we then need to then focus on. If you are the center of the universe, the next layer that's on the outside is then going to be your team, aka your family, aka your team in business, aka everyone that you lead, protect, and provide for that is outside of you. Then on the outside of them is going to be the mission. Now, if we were to then think about the same thing that we talked at the immersion is mission man myself, then everything in terms of your thought process, your actions need to be from the outside in, and then everything from what you know will affect the mission is from the inside out. So what do I mean by that? The thing that I would be talking about straight away that everyone needs to go back to and revisit is your foundations. Your foundations are going to be the pillar, the number one pillar that is going to underpin absolutely everything that we focus on over the next 12 months and beyond for your business, for your relationships, and for your health and fitness. What do I mean by that? It is very simple. If the foundations of the man are low, then the actual target or the result that they're going for, he's not going to be able to achieve. If you, at the center of your universe, are going to be struggling mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, you will not be able to take care of who? The team. And then if the team then fails, then the overall mission of you being the man in your life, in your family unit, and in the community are going to struggle and you will not achieve mission success. So the first thing that we need to look at is the foundations of the man. What would be some of the foundation key components that I would be highly suggesting absolutely everyone to be focusing on moving forwards for what we're needing to do is this. If we were to understand that the foundations of the man are a few key principles, we would look at what does he do with his time? How does he actually spend his time? What does he actually do for when he's at work and also for when he is on his own? What are you doing in your time when no one's watching? What are you doing when your team on site are not there to visually see if you're doing the invoices, if you're taking the sales calls, if you're posting the content, if you're learning a new skill? Who is it that's actually going to hold you accountable in your time? Now, I myself cannot force you to do any of the work. I myself cannot tell you to wake up at the same time. I cannot tell you to actually work out. I cannot tell you to not eat the chocolate bar. I can't tell you to not pick up a drink of alcohol. You are the one that is going to be the only one that is strong enough to stop you and also be the one that's going to draw the line in the sand and hold yourself accountable to a higher standard. And you're here in this community because you all agreed at the immersion and beyond that you are wanting to be called to a higher standard. So I'm going to say things that are going to piss you off. I'm going to say things that are going to hurt your feelings. And I'm going to say things that you're going to turn around and go, fuck, I'm glad that you told me the truth. Thank you so much. I love you. But at the time, I fucking hated your guts. And that's okay. I'm willing to have that conversation with you because I say it from a place of love, because if I can help you become a better man, then for everyone that you lead, that you love, and that you protect, is going to be better off for it. So what are you actually doing with your time? Now, when you get to it, there is inside the circle community in the vault, the commander's vault, what we call a time audit tool. Now, this time audit tool allows us to calculate everything in your day of what you are doing with your time. Now, this is crucial for you to use when you get to this portion of the program, so then you can start to understand what it is that you need to delegate to a team, delete because it's irrelevant to your goals, and do faster because no one else can actually do it than you. So 3 different categories: delete, delegate, and do faster. Okay? We need to start looking at exactly how you're spending your time to rebuild the foundations of the man. What else would then constitute for something in terms of the foundations of the man? We would be looking at the second point of the mind. How does the man then connect to everything in his mind? What are his triggers? What are his patterns? What are his beliefs? And what are his fears? These are some of the elements that, as you have access to the mindset portion of the program, and I'm going to showcase this for you so you can understand where to find all this stuff, especially Sean and Josh, but also for Gary for the onboarding as well. You have a mindset clearing tool that is afforded to you where you can actually sit down and clear out internal fears, frustration, and self-doubt thoughts in your mind on your computer in the comfort of your own home, and you can remove it like that. That is a process that allows us to continue to sharpen your mind as we progress through the program. So we've got the time audit tool, we've got the mindset, but we also have something which is called our battle rhythm. So if you recall in the Foundations program, what you would have identified is what are some of the daily habits and actions that you all need to commit to. And you remember doing this at the immersion. It's like, what is it that you need to do to get your health, your finances, or your money, your relationship, and your mindset from a 0 to a 10? What were some of the things that we needed to do to get those from a 2 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 7 out of 10? Does everyone remember what we did there? So the reason why I'm wanting to make sure that you set the conditions moving forwards for the next 90 days is I want you all to be able to show up and understand what are your daily habits. Now, you would have seen a lot of people create these programs, a 30-day fitness challenge or, a 21-day boot camp. On average, it will take up to 66 days to form a habit if you are consistent every single day and to be intentional every day to commit to that at the bare minimum 66 days. That's why there's things like Andy Frisella's 75 Hard, his Live Hard program that he does throughout the year is super powerful because it's over that 66 day of a habit that you can then form by being consistent over 66 days. Now, for me, I would say that usually we would run something for 3 months and we call it a 90-day sprint. So if we look at this was day 1 and we were looking at a start point is here and we're at D-Day. So D-Day, which is, day 0. We're at D-Day, right? And we're about to step off. Now, if we understood that your journey in this community here for your first mission is to get to the first 12 months. For a normal calendar year or financial year, we would be able to break up your timeline into 4 sections. And every single section is going to be a 90-day sprint. And inside your 90-day sprints are going to be particular posts that we are going to set as your, not necessarily assessments, but just for us to know that you're on track. And what that would look like, if you all recall, is you would have put down your top 4 12-month goals. Does everyone remember that? Yep. So the top four 12-month goals is what you are going to be able to create and complete inside this 12-month framework. Now, here's the cool thing. Because we know what your 12-month goals, whether it was in business, whether it was in relationships, health and fitness, or something about sharpening your mindset, whatever goals, they could be all business goals. It doesn't matter what category they are. Then you know that your daily habits, what they have to be in order to tick off every single week for the quarter. You know exactly that if you were to reach out to 10 people a day and have 10 conversations about your business, that you were to make sure that you posted 1 piece of content a day or 2 pieces of content a week, or you had to drink 3 liters of water a day, exercise 45 minutes a day or an hour a day, read 10 pages of a book, learn a new skill or something in terms of business or in your trade or anything like that. You know that if you did that consistently, week in, week out, month in, month out, I know that if we were to then review this in the next quarter, you would have completely changed your life for the better in only 90 days of the program. I know that to be true because consistency will always be the number 1 key for success in absolutely anything that you do moving forwards. So the first things that I would love for everyone to do moving forwards for this week is to, number 1, revisit your 12-month target. And if you've been in here for a few months in this program, then what you should be looking to do is go back and revisit what you wrote in your books. And then also if you need to then refresh it, great. Now here's the beautiful thing. When you revisit a 12-month goal, the more frequent you revisit it, the more that you'll see on whether or not you underestimated yourself or overestimated yourself. And I'll give you an example. So one of my one-on-one clients at the moment, we originally had a 20K month was 20K a month is where they were at, and they wanted to get to 60K a month. So they wanted to triple their revenue in 12 months. Now, for most people, tripling your revenue right now would be fucking pretty good, right? It'd be pretty awesome. If you're like, okay, pulling in 200 grand a year, if I was to make 600 grand, I'd be a pretty happy man. So in the first, I believe now, if I thought about how many sessions we've had, I think it's about 5 or 6 sessions, they hit about 350,000 in revenue already. And that's within under 2 months. And we've still got 10 months to go in a year to then be able to get them to their goal. Which means one thing though, gents, was the goal not big enough? When we first set out our initial 12-month target, what was our goal? Now, this is where you have to understand and be able to discern between what is a pipe dream goal and what is a goal that I know that if I was to be committed to every single day, that I had the right support around me and I started to clear out my mindset around my goals, then could I actually achieve it? And the reason, or the way that we can do this is you guys need to do one thing that not many people do, is look at your career capital. What's your career capital? Your career capital is your past experience, your past results, your accolades, past stories, client successes. What skills do you have? What experience do you have? What qualifications do you have? What past jobs have you had? What past businesses have you ran? The reason why we would want you to do this is for a few reasons. What could they be? Well, ultimately for me, if I was to know exactly, if I was to know exactly what it is that I can use to extract from your mind everything here, then when you sit down with me or you jump on a call and you talk about a goal and you tell me that you only want to make an additional 10, 20 grand a month and you tell me everything that you've done, I'm going to tell you that you're shooting too low. And the reason why I'll tell you that you're shooting too low is because I know that if we can find a way to hone in on everything that you're good at and look to then offload everything that you're not good at and allow other experts to do the things that you're not good at, guess what we get to do? We now get to build a team with you. And the reason why we get to do that is if we have a position here, if we have person A and person B, and I'm going to use your example for a second. Let's say, Gary, you're a painter and you know nothing about content, about marketing, about branding, about email integration to websites. But then in painting, you know the difference between, I'd say interior, exterior, commercial, residential, industrial, new homes, repaints, repairs. You can already start to see that why would you ever, as person A, attempt to jump the fence to do person A's expertise? So when you have the awareness and the understanding of what career capital you have that you can leverage into a product, a service, a course, or even a position in a team, then you can start to then build a team of experts together. The reassuring component of what you're maybe thinking right now is, okay, well then who do I know in my world, in my community, who are person A and person B and person C and so on? Where can I start to build my team? But that all comes from here. Understanding who you are, understanding the man that is the leader behind the business, understanding the man who is also behind the relationship. So revisit your 12-month targets, revisit your goals. Then I want you to write down and extract, what is it that I'm actually good at? Like, what am I actually really good at? What are my skills? What are my experiences? What have I done? And I want you to create like a biography, really. I want you to really sit down and go, okay, well, what do I know? What do I know? What am I good at? Then from there, the next thing I want you to do is that after you've done your 12-month goals and your career capital, then I want you to look at, okay, what are my habits? What's my routine? And what do I need to do daily to be able to achieve my goals? Now, this isn't something that then you're going to then check in every single day and then say, hey, Kurt, I drank my water. It's then saying, hey, to yourself, I can tick on my sheet that I did this today for me. And what's happening is, even though that this is an element that it's leadership and it's accountability in a group setting, it's also self-leadership and self-accountability, because you're then strengthening the muscle of you actually following through with what it is that you say that you're going to do. The greatest form of trust in a relationship is by saying you're going to take the bins out, and then you remember to take the bins out. The greatest form of accountability and trust in a relationship is then saying, if you're going to clean the shed, you're going to clean the shed. So all that we're needing to do is realign yourself to your goals, understand where your strengths lie and where you need support from a team, and then also then what your daily habits and actions need to be in order to achieve those goals. Once we've done that, then we then obviously understand, all right, well, hang on, how am I actually using my time? What am I actually doing with my time that serves me and doesn't serve me? And then you would then use the time audit tool that's in the portal, okay? Once we've done that, guys, then the easiest element and the best and the most fun and exciting element after that is then removing your fears. Removing your fears. Yep, go Gary. Unmute yourself. I've written it all down, summary and all that stuff's all sorted. I've got all this. Yeah, all good. So then once we've done removing all of your fears, then here's the thing. If we're going to continue to grow and build your business, but you're making decisions mentally drunk, we need to then help you sober up mentally, which means clearing out all of the junk in your mind. There's a few ways that we can do this. No drinking, no bad food, daily exercise, hydrating, reading an entrepreneurial book or a personal development book every single day, and you commit to it for the 75 days or the 60 days or the 90 days, whatever it is in terms of a timeline. All we're wanting to do is get you into a position of doing the things that you know you've been avoiding, that you know that you must in order to get to that next level. From there, once we've done the time, the habits, the battle rhythm, removing your fears, then we need to look at your business. Because if the business is the bloodline of your family unit, of how you actually protect and provide for them, then the one thing that we're all avoiding doing is actually the work on the business and not in it. We are spending so much time in the business because you know why? We are an owner operator, we're a single man team, or we have a small team. But what isn't set up right now is the team to be self-sufficient from all the way from marketing and selling. So I'll give you a demonstration of a visual representation for you to understand what I mean. When you get to a point, and this is the 7-figure framework that I'm about to share with you that everyone can do and everyone must look to focus on building moving forwards, is this. When you have a website, and this is your website here, or you've got a landing page or a funnel or an opt-in form, whatever it may be that you're putting up somewhere digitally for people to see, right? There needs to be on that website a little form that they then fill out with a little submission button. And on this submission button, what they're going to do is they're then going to then hit submit, and then automated, they're going to then receive a next page, which then has a survey. And in this survey, guess what we're now asking? On this survey or an application form, what we're now asking are particular questions that are going to qualify and disqualify out of your business. This would be something like how big's the project, how small's the project, square meterage, how many rooms, for example, for you, Gary. But this could also be for something like how many years have you been in business? What are you actually looking to achieve? How much revenue do you generate? How big's your team, etc., etc. So then once you've then done this, then when they hit submit, the next page that they would then see is a calendar page. And this calendar page is directly connected to your Google Calendar. And then what they can do is they can pick a time for a 15-minute consult. And then they're getting on the phone. Hey, I see that you've submitted an inquiry form. Thanks for getting in touch. I see that you're wanting this, this, and this. Is that correct? Great. So tell me what you've currently tried to achieve this. Okay, right. And why are you looking to fix this problem now? Okay, what happens if we don't? Okay, well, look, for us to be able to come out and do X, Y, Z, or for us to look at this problem, we need to then schedule in for an on-site inspection or an on-site quote, or we need to jump on to a discovery call to actually look at what the problems are that you're facing to see if we can actually help you or not. So what time would best suit? At the start or the end of the week? Okay, in the morning or the afternoons? Okay, great. 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock? Awesome. Can I put you in for 10? Great. What's your name, number, and email, which you already have in the system? Can I book you in? Awesome. What's your address? Or great, we'll jump on a Zoom call or a phone call. Who can I call? Sweet. Great. So then, guess what? You then book them in, and then you have then scheduled your first meet. Now this here is completely automated, which means you don't have to fucking touch anything, which means you get to still run the business, which means you still get to make money when you're driving traffic into this landing page, which is what advertising is. So the advertising or the marketing would be jumping into this process here. Now, once you've gotten them to the first meet, then you are then in the realm of sales. And this is where you then be taking deposits, part payments, split payments, payment plans, pay in fulls, etc. The reason why I'm wanting to share this with you is everyone here is avoiding doing this because if we went back up to the top, you guys don't know how to do it, which is completely understandable. Like that's no fault of your own. You guys dominate the space of being experts on the field. You guys are soldiers in the trenches, fucking shooting and killing the enemy. But you don't have an officer in terms of a strategic visionary to be able to look at the things you don't know, which is everything here. Now, I'm wanting to share this with you because my roadmap for what you guys are needing to then eventually at some point get to is here, and then have a form filled out and then have it connected to your Google account and then connected to an opportunity to then go out on site to then talk to them and for you to understand how to sell your services and what packages you should be selling. That is what we will be working on over the next 12 months. Okay. The reason why we want to do this is for you to create financial independence for you and your family. I need to help you make more money. It's all good, all well and good to help you get a six pack. It's all well and good for you to be emotionally aware. It's all well and good for you to be able to communicate more effectively. It's all well and good for you to be more disciplined and be a more masculine man. But in the modern day world of increases in inflation and the system wanting to fucking destroy family units, and for us to be separated by making it so difficult for women and children and men to play their part in a family unit to actually live harmoniously, then we are now forcing both parents to have to work, which means it's getting really difficult to thrive in this world, which means we need to find a way to build this business and make a fuck load of money. Now, we're not going to talk too much about different ways to make money from different streams of income from one business, but the first stage that we need to get to is having so many people knowing who you are and that you exist. So you've got too many people inquiring for you to then realize, holy shit, there's such a demand for what I do. I then need to actually build a team. So getting your marketing sorted is really step one. Because then when we then have people inquiring and you're disqualifying people who just want their front door fucking repainted, or for, you know, someone that's a big commercial build, or even someone who just wants your help, we want to make sure that we're only talking to people that qualify to work with us to take up our time on a call. And then for us to then be able to schedule them in amongst all of the other things that you have to continue to still do. Once you've done that with this framework, you then will be sitting on a call to then sell, or sitting on site and selling something. Once we've then done that, then we'll then have to look at hiring. But it's a catch-22. It's a catch-22 when we're looking at hiring because people think that they need to hire before they get the work. Crazy, right? You'd think that to be true, but it's the opposite. It's having too much work in the pipeline where you're then looking at 2-3 months down the track of, I can't get to that until then, for you to then go and get more workers to then reduce it down to a month turnaround, which means you can then ramp up your marketing to then actually then bring in more inquiries for your entire team to be fed. Now, the few things pop up to mind, and I would assume you'd be sitting here listening to this going, oh shit, now I have a fear of leading. What happens if something goes wrong? What happens if something goes wrong? Well, okay. What happens if I don't get leads? What happens if I go broke or they make a mistake? Or what happens if I get judged and they say, why the hell would I want to work with you? Your business sucks. What happens if I've got friends or family that are then going to criticize me on what it is that I'm doing because I'm doing something so bold, so brave, so ambitious that they just can't comprehend it? What happens then? This is going to be the thing that we need to then work on ongoing, because these are the fears that are going to fuck your business. These are the fears that are going to get in the way. Because ultimately, if you think about where you are and to where you're wanting to be, you have to be very naive to think that you here sitting on Hell Island, not happy, doing what it is that you don't want to do, and you're wanting to then move across to over here where you're smiling and you're happy and, you know, you're sleeping with your multiple concubines on a desert island and you're having fun and, you know, running down the street and women throw, you know, panties at you like a Blink-182 concert because you got your shirt off and you've got, you know, a physique of a god of war, you know, whatever it is that you're looking at, right? Then you know that there are certain steps that you know you must take. And because there are certain steps that you must take, guess what? There are going to be dips. There There are going to be pitfalls along the way that you're going to have to go into and then come back out and go back into and then come back out. So it's not going to be a straight line. Nothing is linear, especially in business. Your journey is probably going to be something like, to get from Hell Island, there's going to be a booby trap here. There's going to be traps here. There's going to be traps everywhere. And in order for you to get to Heaven Island, you may have to go like this. And that's okay. You need to suspend your sense of disbelief for a period of time for you to just start to take the first step, to take the next step, to take the next step. And every step that we take and every action that we then complete, we then get to reassess where we are in order to know, do we pivot left? Do we pivot right? Or do we keep moving straight? This is only going to come from the visibility of knowing exactly where you are, knowing exactly where you want to go, and then all of the daily actions that you know that if you were to commit to over the time that are going to be your 90-day sprints across each section of the year in order to get you to where you want to go. Does that all make sense? Yep. So for me, this is what I was wanting to discuss with you, is to get you back into the realm of, we're back in the trench, we're back holding the battle ropes, we're back carrying the stretcher, we're back with everyone in the sense of that it's not going to be easy and it's not meant to be easy. Otherwise, everyone would do it. And if everyone would do it, that means that then everyone would have the life that they want to live. But that's not reality. That is not the reality. Not everyone has the life that they want to live. And you have to then ask yourself, well, why is that? Why doesn't everyone have the life to live? It's because they're not actually willing to do the work. They're not willing to do the work, but you guys are, because you guys show up and you guys showed up and you guys showed up in full force and you got the result that you needed at the time for when you went through the immersion. But now you're on the back end. What are we now going to do differently? What are we now going to do moving forwards that is going to make the biggest difference over the next 12 months and beyond? It's going to be things that you have not been doing before. It's going to be things that are going to make you feel uncomfortable. It's going to be things that are going to make you feel very, very fearful and really confused. And you're going to have a lot of fucking resistance come up where you're like, oh yeah, Kurt said that I should do this, but I'm not going to do it anyway. And then I'm going to turn up to a call and then I'm not going to do it. And guess what happens? And here's the pitfall and the trap. There are over 20 people, 25 people in this community that are meant to be on this call. And there's 5 of you here. Okay. Now, for me, some people may not be able to get to the 7 o'clock timings. That I completely understand that. But what I'm also showcasing for you to understand is that if you show up, you get the results. If you're committed, you get the results. If you don't know what to ask and you don't know how to ask for help, then you just say hello, and then I'll say, hey man, what's been going on? And then we'll have a conversation, and then we'll then unpack it with everyone. Because then on the call, everyone gets a chance to then connect and communicate through coaching and through the community. So as long as you understand that now the responsibility for your success relies on you doing the work, although you had us instructors there at the immersion, then you have me here, you have the guys in the group, but more importantly, you need to look at yourself every single fucking day and know that you do have the power. You do have the strength. You do have the confidence and the courage to do absolutely anything that you possibly can, because you've already done what most never will. And if it's anything that you guys need to understand, that you guys need to remind yourself from, is to give you a bit of understanding, a bit of context, just so you know that I'm fucking not bullshitting you and you can actually see it. Inside here on my screen, there are 10,384 people inside my CRM and database of people who have applied for the immersion. And you're one of 120. Just to give you an understanding, that is literally 10,384 people who have gotten in contact with us to say, hey, I want to come do this thing. Jump on a call. Hey, some turn up, some don't. Now that has to give you some indication that there's something special about you. And if that is not anything for you to realize that you are a league above others because you had done something that people had wanted to but didn't have the courage to do so, then by fuck, I don't know what else I need to do to remind you that you are more capable and that you are more powerful than what you think. Too often and too many times have we believed everyone else's stories and everyone else's limitations and then took that on as our own. You are not them. You are not their excuses. You are not their stories. You are the man that you know you can be. And it's up to us to continue to remind you of that. And if we can, then half of the mission is going to be achieved, because half of it is going to be you getting in your own way and finding ways to believe what else that society and your friends and your family and your partner at times continue to tell you to dim your light and to dim your power, because they're the ones that are then uncomfortable at you being a continuous reminder that they chose to give up on their dreams. Continue to be the light and the beacon of fucking greatness for them, to continue to see that you are the one pushing through. You're the one that's going to then lead them. Because if you can do that, then everyone else will be in a better position, because you're the one that's setting the example. You're the one that's taking the lead. You're the one that's finding a way. And if that doesn't get you up of a morning, I don't know what will. But I wanted to at least get you to understand that, because I fucking love you guys and I love what we're doing. So that's my little spiel for tonight. I know I've gone through a lot. There'll be notes and the replay for this if you needed to go back through this. And I'll make sure that the video that I need to send for you guys that are new into the community for your onboarding, for what documents you need access to. But aside from that, the floor is yours. I'll open it up for any questions, queries, doubtful points, or anything you guys want to discuss. And then, we'll look to close off the call in probably 20 minutes or so. Go for it, Gary.
Coming from it, eh?
And what did it for?
I don't need you to reassure me that I've made the right decision now. I know that. I was first, I'm like, fuck, I'm scared, man, but I don't need it anymore. Like, I know what's coming next.
And what did it then do? So if you go back to what you just said before, is the reasons why you can't are the reasons why you must. When you then made that commitment, what do you think you were actually committing to, though, within you?
Getting off my ass and fucking doing something, man. Like, I just not taking action. I'm not doing anything. I'm not trying to better myself. I was just happy settling for what was me, not the man I want to become, man. Like, and already, like, day one, I'm just like, even waking up day two, I'm just like, oh, you've got to get up, cunt. You've got to go do this shit. You've got to get it done. Like, you're not in your old ways anymore. You've committed to growing your business and doing it better. And like, I had no beliefs, man, no beliefs coming into this. And I'm like, you know what? If I just sit still, nothing will ever change. Like, it's scary. It's scary. Like, for only the 24 hours, man, I tell you, I am paranoid with money. Like, I like a backup nest. I like to be stability. I like it all. And after the phone conversation, I was like, fuck, man, that's like the best thing I've ever done. And like, I'm just, 24 hours passed, I'm looking forward to it. But if I had the biggest thing was if I sat still and didn't fucking do anything, I hung up that phone, I'd be regretting it for, in 12 months time, I'd still be here. I'd still be doing the same shit over and over.
Yeah. And you know what? The best way to I do this many times when I invest in myself, and it's not to say the measurement of your own growth and success is predicated on the amount you invest. It's what you invest in, why you're investing in it, and then the actions that then result from it. And the thing that you can always do to realign you with your decision for when you're making these calls in investing in yourself, in your relationship, or in your business, is go back to your identity statement of your ideal self. Every time you look to invest into mentors, advice, businesses, systems, staff, relationships with the person, you go, hang on, if I was to then remind myself and realign me to the man I want to be in 12 months, 3 years, 5, 10 years time, then would my future self, who has the success, who has the business growth, who has the family, who has the accolades, who has the car, the house, the body, etc., would he say yes? Would he make the decision to go all in on growing my wealth? Would he make the decision to go left or go right? Or if he's in a position of not knowing which direction to take, how would he then solve a problem? How would he then make a decision? That's sort of when I was referring back to previously one of our conversations. I said, who's the 2.0 version of you? How do they wake up? What do they then do first thing in the morning? What do they eat in the morning? What do they work? When do they work out? What do they dress like? What do they drive? Where are they living? How do they feel? What do they say to themselves? What do they think about themselves? What watch are they wearing to the minus detail? What shoes? What socks? Where do they go for lunch? How big's their team? How big's their business? How much money do they have in their account? How many investments do they have? What type of woman are they then dating? What do they hear from their woman when they come home? what is their life like? What are their beliefs? What are their values? What are their attributes? What are their non-negotiables? What are their boundaries? If you can get as super clear with that particular person as best as possible, then you're ultimately going to then have a reference point for when shit hits the fan. You go, how'd the fucking 2.0 version of me respond right now? How would the 2.0 version of me make this decision? If I was in a predicament in 2, 3, 5, 10 years time where I'm already visualizing myself being a multiple 7, 8-figure business owner with multiple businesses, with the wife, the kids, the family, the house, the success, the Porsche, etc., I'm now in a position of having to make a decision. How do I do it? How would he do it? If he was next to me right now and I'm sitting here confused and fucking frustrated and I'm like, okay, what the fuck do I do? What would you do? This is what I'd fucking do. And just get yourself into that state. Like, that's exactly what I'd do. That there would be, or could be, the thing that helps you execute when you're fearful like that, for sure.
Man, it makes so much sense. Like in that phone call, I got a tendency straight up. Like I think you've seen it already, and you notice every time I get put on the spot, I look for a way out. Like I try and come up with a bullshit excuse. But your realism, like your true words, you're not there to piss in me pocket. The fact you're just like, dude, you're doing it. Like you're pointing out, you're like, you come here to grow your business and help your business, man. Like, I'm just like, fuck. It's like so right, man. And then when I make the step, once I make the step, I'm fucking happy, man. Like I don't know. It's just the initial fear for me to make that step scares the fucking life out of me. But once I've made that step, it's all gone. Like it's all just upwards. I don't know how to explain that, man. Like you'd understand. You would have been through it once before.
Yep.
Yeah. So like, yeah. Just like for any other boys listening, like fuck. It's the initial fear is what you got to beat. Once you beat that initial fear and you take that first step, it's fucking amazing. Like the fear goes away, it's gone. And like if that's something they're looking into as well to advertise or do something with the business, fucking go do it, man. Because
and the one thing is as well is in order for you to be able to remove fear, in order for you to be able to get stronger in the gym, what would you do?
Train.
And then what would you feel when you're training though? Pain. And what else? Tension.
Yeah, that's why I always pain inside, eh?
Yeah. So when you then begin to start taking the action in your business that would recently scare you or frighten you away from actually taking the action, when you start then doing the things that you don't want to do, let's for example, picking up the phone and selling is a big fear for a lot of business owners. It's like the thought of someone that they don't know on the other end of the phone to then say no to something that they may or may not be ready to buy, and you're that concerned of hearing no because of the attachment we have of them saying no is actually saying no to a baby or saying no to our little 6-year-old self that we're not good enough. That's the one thing that is actually stopping you from growing your business, is talking to more people. And also having your brand and your website and your content and your marketing to be seen, because then it's like, oh, what happens if everyone sees what I do and who I am? And is it going to be good enough? Is it going to be professional enough? And are they going to criticize me and judge me? I think for me, the biggest exposure to being seen is when you then put money behind paid advertising and everyone sees your content. Your target market start to see your content, and then they just go to town on you and they judge you, criticize you, say silly, nasty comments online. And the biggest thing that you've got to remember is the people that are sitting behind a keyboard being warriors, telling you what they think without telling it to your face.
Yeah, I disregard that. But and that automated marketing thing you put up, that's amazing, man. Like I am going to stick something like that on my website. That's fucking unbelievable, man. Just how you don't have to do anything. Like you just have to, your Google account is linked to it. Whoever types in rah, that's going to come up first in the Google searches. And when you've got a good fucking website, like, it's going to be an automated click, bang, set up. Like it's easy. It makes an easy process. Like the amount of websites I've been to and just like, there's nothing here. Like even a contact detail. Do you know how hard it is somewhere to find a contact detail? You're just like, fuck it, next.
Exactly. You want to keep it simple for your customer experience. You want to make sure that if you were Joe Blow that was then going onto your website, how would you want them to contact you and how easy would you want to make it? That's how you got to think. You got to think, keep it simple, stupid, streamline the process, but also not have you have to touch it from the very beginning until they have then given you their details for you to go, that's a small job. Don't want that. I want to talk to this person. Yes, I'll call them.
Yeah, fucking oath. That's amazing, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, but I'll make sure that all the points that we've spoken about on this call gets through to you guys. But that was a good point, man. Good question. And fear is a big thing. You just got to get out of your own way.
Yeah.
You got to rip the Band-Aid off and just fucking execute.
Yeah. Sorry, boys. I'll let someone else have a go.
All good.
Like what he was saying with the being fearful, because I was procrastinating doing marketing for like fucking how long do you like 6 months?
6 months at least, yeah.
And then I just fucking one day I just woke up because I had a kickboxing fight I was supposed to have coming up, and I was like, oh, I'll just wait for it to be over and then I'll do it. And then I just woke up one morning and I was like, you know what? I just called the guy. I was like, you still want to do the thing for me? He's like, yeah. I was like, I'll be there soon. How much do I owe you? He's fucking 2.5 grand. I was like, sweet. Booked me an appointment. I went there. I gave him the money. And like, I have a Google ad campaign. So people type in like tree removal, fucking acreage mowing, or whatever the other services I do. I'm the very first one at the top in certain hours of the day for 5 days of the week. And then it's just pay per click for that campaign. And I've been getting calls, and it's from people that actually want to spend money. Because like when I started my business, obviously I didn't have any way of getting the lead, so I just was using High Pages. And it's just scumbags who want the cheapest job done on the same day. And like I've driven past people that have got someone else to hire them, and I've looked at the way that they've left the tree, and like because I'm at TAFE and I'm learning about it, these people have just gone to Bunnings and bought a fucking chainsaw. And I will literally laugh, and I said, these people are going to have more problems. They're going to have to call someone back in 6 months to fix the tree when it gets all fucked up. If they just had a con with someone like myself, paid a little bit more, they would have gotten a proper job. And then like now I'm using the Google campaigns. Like people want people like me. They want to spend the money so then I can make the money. So like the marketing thing and being like fearful of doing it, like fuck, I just jumped into it, and I wouldn't even look back now, to be honest. It's fucking hectic.
Did you end up having anyone come through, all those people you contacted when you were at the sales immersion in Feb?
Fuck. No, I don't think so, But because I bought the ride on and everything, I was gonna go. I actually had a whole list of real estates, different ones in different areas.
Yeah.
That I was gonna call, and I got overwhelmed because there was literally about 30 tabs on my bar, and I'd open my laptop every day and be like, I'll do that later, and I close it, and my laptop started lagging out, and I exited the Safari, and still haven't done it, and I was about a month ago, and I was telling myself I really need to call these people because it's starting to come into summer, and I got a job from a Google campaign to go do acreage mowing. So once I do a good job for them, because they've already hired me, like I'm gonna go into the office, I'm gonna put a face to their name so they know who they're dealing with, give them some cards, like take a couple nice things there, whatever, some donuts, some shit. Get on a good page, and then they're gonna give me work, and then I'm gonna actually call all the real estates and say, we're one-stop shop. We do the trees, we do the acreage, we do the gutters, property maintenance, the whole thing. Don't have to find 4 people, we do everything.
Correct.
And get into like all the real estates. And I'm still with my mate with that RMS contract.
Did you get it? Have you got it yet, or
like an $80 million contract? There's more than like mowing there's like graffiti removal and cleaning public toilets. Like it's not just like my mate goes, he said it won't be something that just gets handed over in a month. Like he goes, it's a big process to go through something that's like an $80 million contract for like years of work.
Now, what's the company that your mate owns?
So the guy George that I sent you, it's his brother, it's his wife's brother, his mate that's got the work. But they're all connected through the same circle, sort of thing. You know what I mean? At the fucking circle.
Yeah. So George is his civil company that he has. His wife's brother owns that RMS.
Owns another company, and then he knows someone who's got the whole contract, and he's asking us if we want it.
So okay. So we're third detached. We're third
head down.
So Ryan, you're talking to one of the a big lead connector here that has people. You need to let me know what services they need, and I'll call every single person that I know that need that have those services, that I have companies that can do that. If we can get majority of the pie of that 80 mil contract, I will fucking find you the people. All it is it's who you know in that circle that you said. But there is also an opportunity here for you to have a vertical integration of multiple businesses that you have access to, that you can bring in, that you're an equity partner in. Because if you can get them into a deal, then it's a fair share for you to get a finder's fee for getting them into that contract. But if it's an ongoing contract, you may as well have a piece of that company if they're going to then have for next few years a piece of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, like if you talk with George, just mention it, and he'll know straight away, and just be like, look, man, I know fucking shit tons of people. I can call people. You let me know what you need. And he's the sort of person who wants to meet people to make money. And he's like me. he wants to take over. He wants to make millions. Like he's got the same mindset as me. So he'll be on the same path as you. But yeah, like when he told me that there's work from like Albury, Cooma, like where the snow is, all the way up to Queensland, all the way out to like Lithgow. Like it's like 900 and something lots of land, like something nearly 1,000 different job sites, like they need to be done like 8 times a year. Like it's fucking ridiculous.
Well, when you need anyone to help you with the garden and lawn care, when you need anyone with heavy diesel mechanic and fitter and electrical work, and if you need anyone with painting work, there's 3 guys on the call that do that for a business straight away. That'd be more than happy to jump on.
In the night, mate.
Yeah. So there's this is the beautiful thing about networking and masterminds is, you know, you can find anyone that can work with anyone in the right areas if you just say, hey, this is what I'm needing help with, and put it into the group and stuff like that. So it's we're going the right way for it, which is good. But no, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're doing well. It's I'm excited for when you're ready to do more with the business when you finally retire from fighting. Hey.
I've haven't retired, but I've started a program in the gym, so I'm building some muscle for the next 3-6 months. I've got like a 12-week program, a 6-week core program.
Cool.
I've got a whole new diet. Like my diet and my relationship are like 150% ace on the cream right now. My fitness, everything. My business is like, you know, I'm still hacking away at it a little bit by doing what I can. But I know there's so much more I can be doing. Like it's only my in, but I know like I push myself too much to be where I am right now, knowing that I could be doing more. You know what I mean? You can be
doing more. We should be doing more, but doing more is not also the answer. It's doing the right things that are going to be beneficial. Hustle is not going to be the answer for you, especially with your time of what you're doing with your fitness and your relationship. It's more or less looking at where are you now, where do you want to be, and then looking at what it is you're not doing and what we can be doing, or outsource everything else. Like you did with your Google ads. I know that the big fear is looking at like it's team management is a big fear for a lot of people, and not getting fucked over by people as well. It's a big fear for a lot of people. What happens if I hire people and they do the wrong thing? What happens if they hire? It's like, well, unfortunately, guys, people are gonna do the wrong thing, and people are gonna fail, and people are gonna make mistakes, and they're probably gonna fuck you over at one point, and they're all just gonna be humans because there's human error in everything except AI, and even AI have human errors in their own coding. So I think there has to be a point of accepting the fact that nothing's going to be 100% perfect, and also that not everything is going to go the way you think it's going to go. And it's just your ability to be able to be ready for when something doesn't go right, and for you to be able to respond rather than react. If you can respond rather than react when shit hits the fan, you'll be sweet. That's good, man. Good update. Good. I'm glad you're doing well. I need to let you know about some, if we're going to end up doing this couples retreat stuff, and just a mixed sort of retreat. I don't know if we're going to do it just yet, but I know that you missus would probably appreciate it.
Yeah, I have to see what she reckons. She's got a fucking hard head on her.
Yeah, a hard head and a strong heart, my man.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Good stuff, man. Good shit. Josh and Sean, I'll open up the floor for you guys. If you have any questions, the floor is yours. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you, bro.
Yeah, cool. With them forms you were saying, them online forms making,
yep.
How would that work for like lawn mowing? Because people want it instantly on the freaking day. It makes it hard.
People want lawn mowing on the day?
Yeah, they will ring me up and say, can you fucking do my lawns in 2 hours?
Yeah, and then you say, no, and then you say, fuck you, no, I can't.
Because I got sales like that, literally. I get people ringing me, and I'm already on another job, and they're like, can you do my lawn now? I'm desperate. And I'm like, well... You can, you can, and it's gonna cost you a last minute notice fee. That's what I try to say like that, but then there's competition too, where it's literally... People want to pay the lowest fucking dollar. Someone will go, I'll give you $20 to do a lawn. I'm like, fuck off, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, so this is another thing when it comes to identifying who your target market is in your ideal niche.
Yeah.
So if like a $20 backyard lawn mowing is not the...
I wouldn't even attempt it.
It's not the plan. So like similar to like what we're talking about with Ryan, you know, when we're looking at arborist work, and when we're looking at acreage work, when we're looking at like, you know, bigger properties, you got to start...
I do some of that stuff as well, yeah.
Yeah, so you got to start looking at and thinking, well, who is it that I should be looking to target? But here's a kicker. So if there's last minute people inquiring saying, hey, can you come and do my thing now? Then the biggest thing that's going to protect your time is the questions you ask them. So when you have, if you don't have a landing page and a website, and they're I don't even know how people are going to message you if it's on if I think it's on Facebook, right?
Yeah, I got Facebook, and they just mainly ring me. I get mainly just people ringing me non-stop all through the day.
Cool. So the easiest way to ask is, where are you located?
Yeah.
When are you looking to get the work done? How big's the yard, and what is it what problems are you actually experiencing at the moment, and why are you wanting to get the actual problem solved? Like, it's all right, how big's the yard? It's like, it's probably 6 square meters. It's like, okay.
People lie as well. That's what I get a lot with the lawn mowing side. They say, I only mowed it 2 weeks ago, and I get there and it's freaking hasn't been mowed in 2 years.
Easy. So what you do is you then go in and you have a call out fee that is a fee that is then taken off the entire amount of whatever service you actually provide. And what it means is, and you give them this story, it's like, look, man, it's like, I'm pretty flat out, and I have only limited amount of time that I can actually come through and provide you the service. But what we need to do is I need to assess how bad the actual job, or how big the job is, so then I know that I don't overquote you, and that I know that I can allocate the right amount of time to make sure that you get the result that you're looking for. So in order for me to come out, it's a $50 call out fee or a $100 call out fee, and that then allows me to give you a specific time that I'll be on site. So instead of every tradie that says we'll be out on site between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m, I'll tell you the exact hour that I'll be out on site, and then you know that you can keep going on with your day, your work, or with your family, and you know I'll be there when I tell you that I'll be there. And then for whatever work that we then can need to then commit to, that $100 will then come off the total invoice that is then required for that job. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. Visa, Visa or MasterCard, or bank transfer, or however you're going to collect money. Because what that means is, Sean, is that's going to then give you a chance to stop the tire kickers, because they're not actually going to then commit to you with a call out fee. You're also getting enough information to then start actually framing your mind of going, oh, that's going to be a pretty big job, or a small job. And then it also positions you as an actual person who has standards and boundaries, because you're the one that wants to protect their time and your time by making sure that you turn up when you say, and also when and to also make sure that they get the result that they're looking for, which is the highest quality result being, no, I don't want to just turn up on site straight away and then not actually then know what it is that you need, because I might be the wrong person to do the work, or you might be underestimating how big the job is, and I'd hate to underquote or overquote you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Hey, Sean.
Yo.
What I was listening to before was like, when you were saying that you get she's ring up and they want your job done and you're already on a job.
Yeah.
No matter what I'm doing, man, always, like, when I talk to a client, you always you're obviously always telling the client you've got upcoming work you've booked out for 3 months or whatever. But say, look, if you want the job done, we can leave this job next, skip a job, you in line, but it's going to cost you $50 or $100 extra.
Yeah.
And they say, no, they don't want it. So look, we can do it. If you don't want it done, that's fine. And 10 times out of 10, man, people want someone that's going to turn up and do it then. Yeah, you just got to not have that care factor or that doubt in your mind, man. When you we'll get there and do it, but it's $100 extra or $50 extra for the hour. Like, you know? And 10 times out of 10, man, that confidence will land them every time.
Yeah.
Like, when I have clients ring me up and they want jobs done, like this job might be, say, regardless how much it is, but I'll use the last one as an example, 40 grand, man, and I'm booked already for 3 months, but I always add extra money on the quote if I'm going to leave the job I'm doing now so that I'm making more. And then you can always rearrange the work you've got now, man.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
You know, to a client and say, look, we can't get there today, but we'll get there tomorrow because I've got an extra $200 getting made today, you know, even if it's something that small, bro.
Yeah.
So, and bro, don't stress about, people wanting their lawns mowed. When you start advertising, bro, it's not going to be lawns you're doing. It's going to be like fucking schools and football ovals and shit. It's going to be
that's true.
Contracts, bro.
Yeah. I spot for the Warwick at the moment.
Yeah, especially when you've got a design website, bro. People are going to see it and go, wow, this guy can handle more than we want. So let's get him to do the school, or let's get him a regular basis to do our footy,
Yeah. Well, I'm about to do the Warwick Cricket Club.
Yeah, good.
I'm one of their main sponsors there.
Yeah, nice. That'd be a good contract, huh?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So one thing,
that's the type of shit you want.
So one thing that you guys are referring to, which I think is a good segue for this one point that I want to close off for you guys to think about, is this. So when you sell, what you should be actually looking for is an opportunity to give them options of a good, better, best. And what that actually looks like is, let's say, for ease of this example, you have, let's say your top package, then you have a middle package, and you have your low package. and this would be the best. This would be better, and this would be good. Overall, they're still going to get a pretty solid service, right? What you actually want to do is the top and the best package is when they're going to actually pay in full. This one is going to be some form of a split payment, and then this one is going to be something like a payment plan or a parts payment, like an installment package type thing. So what this would look like is this, and what we end up doing is when you're looking at a paid in full option, what do you need to then do for these packages to incentivize them to then take the paid in full or the split option or the part payment? What incentive can you actually give them? Because if you think to yourself, if I said to you, hey guys, if you were to pay in full, it's, let's say for ease of this reference, let's say it's 10K. If you do split payment, it's, let's go 6,000 for example. And then a part payment might be three payments of 4K, right? So you've got a contract value of 10 grand, 12 grand, and 16. Does that make sense for everyone so far? Right? Now here's the thing. Why though would someone want to take the pay in full option with only what I've just provided? They're gonna pay the least amount at 10 grand, right? So at the moment, the only thing that we have to incentivize someone is they would save the most money by going for the paid in full option. Can everyone see that? But here's the thing. What else can we add in as our package that is then going to then incentivize them to want to do a pay in full? So what you could do, and this is what we did for a security screen, blind shutters and awnings business, is you look at how do we make sure that they go for the best option. What we did in that package is we did a 10% discount. It was a 10% discount. So what they did is if they paid in full, they would get a 10% discount straight up. And then they also got put on the priority list, cancellation list. And what the priority list did is it jumped the queue. And they were also put on the cancellation list. And they also got a 6-month and a 12-month, I believe, free inspection to come back out on site. So if you think about it, if I said to you, hey man, no worries, we actually can't get out on site for another 4 months, so you'd have to wait. However, if you were to pay in full today on the call, what I could do is I could order the materials today and I could jump the queue and put you and fast track you to the front of the line, which means I could then have materials ordered in the week and I could be on site in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But if you can't pay up front because, you need more of an ease of, management for your cash flow, then we can not do the pay in full and we can do a split payment where you put 6K down now and then we put 6K down on installation, so just before installation. But what I can do is if you do the split is I can't jump you to the queue, but I can put you on the cancellation list. So if anyone that's in front of you and we've ordered your materials, if they want to cancel, then I'll call you and you'll be put on the cancellation list to see if I can then bring it up further than 4 months. But if you can't do that and that doesn't work for you, then we can do a 3 installments of 4 grand, but you do 4K now, 4K on, materials being ordered, and then 4K on installation. What's this for? Correct. Well, you shouldn't have answered the phone in the first place if they weren't interested, because you should only be talking to people that are qualified through your inquiry form and your surveys, right? So then what you do is you look at what they would call price anchoring. So if I said to you, there's one offer that's 10 grand, the second offer is 8 grand, and then this offer is 3 grand, where have I price anchored you to want to buy? What are you more likely going to buy? Well, you're not different. You're everyone, because if you look, these are too close, which means in your mind you go, oh, well, if I'm already looking at the 8 grand one, well, why not take the 10? Because it's got more shit. It's got more value. But if you don't want to be selling your top packages because of it may be very high to fulfill, and there may be a lot that you have to do, and it's just a bit of a ball ache for you to do that, and you want to then anchor people to then go for your middle package, then what you do is you put your middle packages closer together, and then your top package way in front. So if you looked at that now, what would you want? Or you could even make that even more, where it's just like, okay, if I said to you, okay, going off what you just said then, what if it was like this? You'd go to the 5, wouldn't you? So you're price anchoring something closer to the lower end, or you price anchor something closer to the top end. So then you go, oh, well, there's 3 options, man. You could, if you wanted to pay in full, you'd be paying 10K, and you get on the priority list where you can jump the queue, 10% deposit, 10% discount, you get put on the cancellation list as well, and you also get a free 6 and 12 month inspection to come out to look at any damages or anything that needs to be fixed, and that's on us. Or if you didn't want to pay in full, then you have an option to pay a split payment of 6.6, where you don't get to jump the queue, you don't get to be put on the priority list, you get put on the cancellation list and blah, blah, blah. Sorry, that's here. What would you then do? You'd like, well, I may as well go for the 10 and pay in full and get the inspections and jump the queue and get a discount and get my job done within 4 weeks, or I pay an extra $2,000 but don't get those inclusions. What would you do? You'd go the 10K, right? Because then if this one down here, which is then 16 grand, the 16 grand's further away from the 10K, right? But the one that's closer is the 12. So you'd want to then incentivize them to go the pay in full option. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's just a little tip for you when you're talking about it, Sean, with your guys, is like you could come up with something very similar of a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. This one's paid in full, this one is a split, and this one's a payment plan of some description, and you can come up with those different packages. If you can find out what that would look like, then you can start to then get really creative and go, if I was going to make and encourage someone to then want to actually do that, like what am I needing to do? Like what do I actually truly need to put into this package to incentivize someone to then pay in full? Yeah. And that's when you can then start to then get to that point.
Flat out. The fact that there's a shortage of good incentivizers will drop what we're doing and we'll get there.
Yes.
Whether you have to hire staff, you just be like, yeah, we can do it. You get off the phone, you start ringing people. Hey, can you go and do this for me, man? Can you come and finish this job while I go do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the good thing about there's heaps of other mowing companies and you can subcontract between each other, which is good.
Yeah.
You just bloody answered your own question. That's
awesome. Yeah. There's so many people I can ring that I know that run other mowing businesses that would help me. And sometimes they're desperate and they ring me and I get some jobs out of them as well.
Well, when they ring you and they say, can you come and do these lawns? And you're questioning, hey, man, I can't do it. Just say yes. So
yeah, I guess I'll just do it then.
You can always ring them back and say, look, we can't make it, but just take the extra work. Why not?
Yeah, why not, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to see a little hack? Do you want me to show you something that's pretty cheeky?
Yeah.
So you said that there is in all of how many garden lawn care businesses do you think are in your area in sales?
At least 22, 27 at least. There's so many.
22 to 27.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 50.
Yeah, and then you add the backyarders in. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so there's quite a lot.
Yeah, a lot, but they don't last over a year.
And why?
They drop off.
And why? Why is that?
Because they're too fucking cheap and they don't make any money and they go bankrupt.
Yep. Okay.
That's pretty much half of them.
What's the name of your business?
SD Mowing.
Be mowing. So imagine if you had this. Ready? Let's say SDW agency, or let's say it was called SD.
Yeah.
Which is SDW marketing, and then your landing page was, hey, are you a homeowner struggling to find the right service to maintain your lawns and save you time and stress so your family can feel relaxed and stress-free in the comfort of your own home in a house that you feel proud of? Then click here and inquire for our services. Oh, okay. Then they're going to fill out a form, and then that form is going to tell us about the type of job. And then from there, you're then going to then have a list of inbound inquiries. And then what happens is you then have on that form here, you have the suburb and the address. And then what you do is you then have a database of 20 plus lawn care businesses with their emails and numbers to call. And then you then get on the phone and then say, hey, Johnny, I've just got this lead coming through from my agency that they need this work done over in XYZ address. And it's this particular type of job. and roughly I've quoted about $500. If you go out and do that job, it'd be fair to say that you take 80% at least because you're doing the job, right? Do you want me to send you some free work that you just need to go and do the work and you get paid? Yeah, cool. So how about you take 80% and I'll keep 20% because I found the work for you, but you go and do it. And when you go out there and you do it, you're from SW, so then they get to then run. You get to keep $100. They take 400. And now you've got 20 people that are then you're in contact with that are seeing, everyone is only seeing this type of marketing because no one in your area is actually doing really good marketing, right? So imagine if we became the agency that was generating lawn and garden care maintenance
that'd be
ads
cool
for people to see, for us to then control the data, for us to then have a list, for us to then call for them to then a database of businesses in the area.
Be knocking back work.
Yeah, I think Jim's Mowing does that.
Yeah, but Jim's Mowing is shit at marketing.
Yeah, I know. They do something like that. I don't think it's in Victoria.
Yeah.
Where they have their own job list and you can pay gyms, I don't know, $100 a month and you get on all the stuff that they overflow and they don't want to do and they just send it to the other contractors.
Yeah. So imagine
that's similar to what Jim's does.
But imagine you being Jim. Imagine 10 people a week doing 10 different jobs, giving you $100, and they still get to take $400 per job or $100 per job. 20%, $100, $1,000, $4,000 a week. Not bad. $4,000 a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So I just wanted to show you that because what this is an example of is that is for us to be able to become the actual gateway or the pipeline of where all of the actual work comes from. Because if there's so many other people like us out there that don't know what they're doing, we just become the ones that know what they're doing to then actually take all of the leads to then work with and then to farm them out where we need to. But that's later down the track. That's a vision that I have for quite a few of you because a lot of people that are in your areas don't know how to market and sell. But if we're teaching you how to do that and we can help you build the infrastructure to do that, then you become the go-to guys in the area. Just farm out the rest for everyone else to feed off, and then you get to then still get paid as well.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, there you go.
No matter what the figures are, Wolfie.
Hey.
I truly believe, man, if you market right and you do it, bro, you could take all the Gippsland, man. You never have to knock back work again. And it wouldn't be, I'm serious, bro.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah, I'm not even joking, man. It wouldn't be hard, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, everyone knows Jim's Mowing's overpriced and shit, man.
Yeah, they're shit, literally. They are. They got a bad name in sale, that's for sure. I've taken a lot of their work.
Well, there you go.
Take it all.
Yeah. So there's a lot for us to learn. There's a lot for us to cover off on. But as you can see, that this is sort of the pattern, guys. I like to share stuff. I like to teach. I'll probably have a bit more things like this to go through. But was this valuable? Did you like going through stuff like this? Was this something
amazing.
that you're wanting to talk about? Cool. If there's anything else though that you guys want to talk specifically about, please put it into the group chat. Ask the question so at least I have a topic that I can talk with you about. Because then that's going to help us massively when it comes to creating content for you guys to continue to learn and grow. So, but I'm excited, guys. It's a good start to the journey. I know you guys are fresh out of the gauntlet, which is fucking exciting and awesome. Most of the guys in here have been in here since I think October, December, February, and you guys in July. So good mix. There's a good mix of guys. And some pretty solid fellas in here. So it'd be good to see more guys jumping on the call. So for now, at least probably for the next 3 months, I'm going to keep the 7 o'clock timings as long as you guys have gotten, value out of jumping on at this time of night. I know it's 8:30. I won't want to go any longer than that. So this is the sort of time frame I'm going to keep on a Tuesday night, and we'll keep moving forwards from there.
Sweet, mate.
Sweet. Easy done. Gary, our chat's tomorrow. And then I'm going to coordinate with Dean as well and Erica to jump on. Probably not. Oh, maybe at the same time. I might ask them if they can do they've got some questions creative-wise that we need to talk about as well. But
yeah, I've written down a few.
We've got some stuff that we need to discuss anyway.
Keen, man.
Cool. Sean and Ryan, I'm going to send you through the videos for what you need to get started and to get involved into the portal, and then we're off to the races with everything else. Happy with that?
Yep.
From tonight was so much information and my brain's tripping out. I want to go.
Easy. No, I'll make sure that this goes. I'm going to actively start making sure that this goes into the portal as a replay with some action items and some notes. So I'll make sure you guys have access to that in the community. Cool.
Wait.
Easy. Much love.